Bricks and Minifigs is your one-stop shop for all things LEGO. Hit the link below to find a store near you.
Hi, I'm Brian Williams, and welcome to Area 51. It's everything the government doesn't want you to know about. So we have all kinds of cool stuff that we have on display, starting with, of course, the Alien Lab, where you can see all these aliens, including Yoda and Superman. Yes, they are both aliens. We've also got buildings for different subjects, like the Super Containment Lab from The Incredibles. And then we have a Stargate portal, which is from the movie, not from the TV show, but they're very, very close. We're going to actually do a rebuild on that one, which will be around the TV show, and we're going to have the Stargate portal actually rotating, so all of the text will turn in a line.
Nice. And what do we have here at the corner that have shown up to check this all out?
Sure. This is the Springfield Poolmobile. So the Poolmobile is from an episode of The Simpsons that's just a true classic. And I figured out how to work every single one of the Simpsons characters in, including several 3D printed ones like Sideshow Bob that you don't get from the Lego series. And it's kind of kitschy. It's kind of fun. So we take the serious subjects and then we kind of interleave them with pop culture, lighter-hearted stuff like that.
Perfect. And what does that take us to next down here?
Sure thing. Well, we have the original Time Machine, which virtually nobody knows anymore, except that it appeared on an episode of The Big Bang Theory. And so we have Sheldon sitting in it, and who's far more recognizable than the original actor that was in the movie. But then we also have other kind of stuff, like if you look at the warehouse, this is actually how Area 51 started. It was part of my old Indiana Jones exhibit, showing the warehouse with all of the, secret crates and things. Every one of those crates has a different conspiracy theory on it. I custom printed them. There's over 50 crates, and we've got the signage in the front here so people can look at the warehouse and they can go in there and find them. And yes, we have everything from Amelia Earhart's airplane. We have the Lucas wedding video re-edits, which is a kind of a callback to a South Park episode. So a lot of pop culture references.
And then I love one cool thing that kind of like runs throughout the whole build is the barbed wire, and of course this train that we'll get to at some point here as well. So that kind of creates a nice continuous storyline throughout.
If I can put in a shameless plug for Joe at Citizen Bricks, he makes absolutely wonderful fencing now, custom fencing that's compatible with Lego. I do use a lot of it. I also use some cheaper Chinese knockoff stuff sometimes. Depends on what the application is and the space that it needs to fit. But it does add an awful lot. The kids absolutely love it. It really, communicates that this is not an area that you should be dealing with. And of course, around it, we have the train. The train is just a something to kind of tie it all together. I do have an Air Force train that I put out originally, but it breaks down so often I just use this one. And here we have these little xenomorphs in trans clear. It took me approximately 4 years to find these. You can find them in other colors, but finding them in trans clear, there was only one run of these, and I got enough of them, ironically, to be the skeletons in my crystal skull for Indiana Jones display. But, we haven't done that, so they're out here at Area 51 and just taking advantage of whatever they can do.
Nice. So what's the next building that we have here then?
All right, so after the main gate, and you can see here, this is from the fourth movie, The Crystal Skull. You can see the dead guards. You can see the Russians and Indy himself in back. And then next to it is probably the most popular cube on this layout, and that is the fake moon landing stage. So this is, a popular conspiracy theory, and we've even got the television crew and the CIA guys with rifles all sitting there monitoring it. People just love the scene. A lot of them don't even realize that it was actually in a James Bond movie. And that's why we put this moon vehicle with James Bond in it from Diamonds Are Forever. And a lot of the, I think the older crowd remembers it, but a lot of the newer kids haven't seen that. So it works, it's, across all generations, but for different reasons. And then now right next to it, of course, we've got the Dr. Strangelove War Room. Still a huge favorite. We've got Dr. Strangelove arguing with the president, with Peter Sellers there, and you got the nuclear bombs on the video going off and everything. I just do a little shout out here to Brick Stuff. Rob Klingberg custom made the lighting fixture for that. It's hand-wired LEDs. He did a great job. It really captures that, very curved, even look that they had in the movie.
Yeah, fantastic. That lighting in a lot of these builds just adds such a great element.
Absolutely, and I learned so much over the years of how to use light to tell stories, how to focus the viewer's attention. The other thing is that you're calling back memories, because kids, fans have seen these in movies, and you're recreating these scenes. So if you can recreate the lighting from the scene, that sells it.
That takes us kind of away from the buildings a bit then. What is this section out here?
All right, so this table is a little bit more realistic. It's based upon the nuclear test range that we had out in Nevada, and of course they don't let you in there. We have a very scale prototype Matador missile here, which is, I like to do military modeling sometimes, and my Air Force crews, have no problem doing that. But then we'll mix it up with, some of the comic relief here. So here you've got, Indiana Jones being scrubbed down along with this, nuclear van. This is actually from another episode of The Simpsons. And the kids, they don't usually recognize it out of context. But over there on the green area, which is the radioactive stuff, they'll recognize it if you put it out there. We've got some other military vehicles and a bunker. This is getting a lot of play right now because Mr. Robert Oppenheimer, you might know, he had a pretty good movie out last year. So yeah, that's very in vogue right now. People recognize it, and we do have Mr. Oppenheimer on the top of the test pile there. They showed some of the testing in the movie. They didn't show this particular test. This was the calibration test that they did before they lit off the test at the Trinity site. They had to calibrate all the sensors, the cameras, the timing, and all of the other instruments. And so they blew off what was at the time the largest amount of TNT that had ever been blown up in the world to that date, just several weeks before they lit off the actual Trinity bomb. And you can see several of the other characters, and this is very scale. This is an actual model of what it actually looked like in Lego. And we have a couple tanks, including the one with Enrico Fermi that he drove, and his grad assistant. We've also got other bombs over here. This tower is it's not the tallest it's been. I had it when I premiered it several years ago. It was about twice as tall, but I had to bring it down because it's just very hard to do that at a show, to set it up. The higher it gets, the very topples over, that sort of thing. So yeah, here you've got the first device that was ever tested, nuclear device. That is the Trinity device. And if you look on the other side, you'll see the second bomb, which was dropped on Hiroshima. That is Little Boy. And then the third one, the yellow one, that's Fat Man, that was dropped on Nagasaki. I pray that I will not have to make another bomb. Hopefully those are the only ones that will ever have been used.
Absolutely. What is this section out here?
Well, this is Hitchy and Scratchy. That was another Simpsons gag where, obviously combining explosives and nuclear bombs with Hitchy and Scratchy is just humorous, I guess.
Same with some penguins as well.
We get a lot of that from Madagascar. That's still very popular. A lot of the kids recognize it, and they were just great comic relief. So, and wherever you've got bombs and military stuff, I figured they would fit. A lot of the characters that I have on the layout are from other manufacturers. They're not Lego per se, but it really does show you how Lego's marketing has worked so well over the years that they've had several other companies try to copy them. I don't like to put out non-quality product. Those particular figs were very good quality, so I have no problem putting them out on the layout. Also, we have some Minions. Lego, of course, did their own Minions. But we also have some non-Lego Minions and other custom characters that we put out. Yeah.
That takes us to a couple more structures here.
Yep. This is our newest area, the airport, And you can see it's still a little wobbly here. Unfortunately, we left some of our electrical box back at home in Chicago, so I don't have some of the connectors to light up everything, and it's a little disrambed. But anyways, you got your control tower complete with Pee Wee Herman for some strange reason. Actor Paul Rubens is flying through the air there. We've also got the radar tower, and apparently, I don't know how SpongeBob got a hold of a UFO.
We'll let the viewers decide that.
Absolutely, sure, why not? We've got all kinds of little pieces. Apparently, Donkey Kong is playing with nuclear waste barrels. We just figured rather than use real barrels, let's use barrels filled with nuclear waste. Why not?
It's so much more fun.
It raises the stakes. We've also got some odd characters out here. I just like the Rancor. I'm sorry, but he's my favorite. I put him out at every show, and I let my son figure out where he needs to go, and he usually fights the Hulk or something. And then aircraft-wise, on the runway, we have a Hercules, which is a very nice, it's a non-Lego product. I'll be clear about that. And a lot of people don't care for it, but it just looks so good. Those compound curves are almost impossible to do in Lego, and yes, I know it's worth the effort, but it just looks so much better with the nose. So, and it was quick and cheap, and I got it for a song. So, yeah, exactly. Whereas the two in back of it, though, the DeLorean and the CIA plane, those definitely are actually Lego, complete Lego products. In fact, it looks like we have a former president of the United States who's partying on this CIA aircraft. Of course, we took the perspective that the CIA is not actually the Central Intelligence Agency, but it's really the cocaine import agency.
There you go. It fits with the theme of the layout here.
Well, exactly. Again, it's everything that the government doesn't want you to know that they're up to. And, there's so many DeLoreans out there now. I just want to highlight this one. It is minifig scale. And it's fully lit, including from the second movie, the futuristic one with all the lights underneath. Unfortunately, it's not working right now, so you'll have to take my word on that.
No, this is a really neat layout, and just all the references I think are so much fun here. So do you find that it differs a lot between adults and kids and what they pick up on, and maybe some things like kids it's harder for them to recognize? How does that typically work as the public interacts here?
Yeah, that's a good question. So a lot of the references are older. And yes, the adults definitely get them. But these are adults, they're usually showing their kids these movies. So a lot of the kids get them. In fact, I had one boy come in here one time. He was looking at, I had a video going. It's actually in the warehouse now. Well, sorry, in the Dr. Strangelove War Room. So he's watching the video, which contains bomb test footage. And as it's going through, he's saying, okay, that one is that one, that's Y, that one's Z. He knew the names of all of these tests by sight. And that was a little odd for a 10-year-old boy. So I walked over, I'm like, hey, your dad watches the History Channel, right? He's like, no. I'm like, oh, okay, so your dad's a physicist, right? He's like, no. I'm like, okay, well, we're running out of good options here. But it's video games. The kids play these video games today, and they learn so much about these weapon systems. I had no idea. And I'll have customers come in, or kids will come in, they'll look and they'll say, wait a minute, that's the wrong version of that gun for that year. You should have a Mauser from 1942. And I'm like, wow, these kids know far more about this stuff than even I learned. So yeah, it's very eclectic, and we try to adjust to that.
That's so much fun, though. So I'm so glad that you've continued to kind of update this and add to it over the years, represent different parts of pop culture. So I always love to see the work you have, and I know you'll be at like Brickworld Chicago and some of the other Brickworld shows and things displaying stuff. So keep up the great work. Thank you.
Thank you so much.